the rock world woke up to news that felt impossible to process. Brad Arnold, the unmistakable voice behind some of the most defining rock anthems of the 2000s, passed away on February 7th, 2026, at just 47 years old. For many, it felt like losing a part of their own history. His voice wasn't just something you heard on the radio. It lived inside memories, moments, and emotions that shaped entire chapters of life. According to those closest to him, Brad passed peacefully, surrounded by love, in the quiet way that reflected how he lived when the lights were off. There was no chaos, no spectacle, just stillness. In an industry often defined by noise, his departure came softly. And yet, the silence he left behind echoed louder than any arena ever could. A voice. Everyone knew, even if they didn't know his name. If you grew up in the late 1990s or early 2000s, Brad Arnold's voice was unavoidable. Even people who couldn't name the band instantly recognized the sound. Three Doors Down wasn't just popular, they were present. Their songs followed people through first loves, breakups, deployments, long drives, and quiet nights when the world felt heavy. Brad sang in a way that didn't feel rehearsed or distant. It felt personal, like someone putting feelings into words you didn't yet have. He never tried to sound invincible. Instead, he sang like someone figuring things out in real time. That honesty is what made his music last. Trends came and went, but his voice remained familiar, steady, and deeply human, anchoring listeners during moments they didn't yet know would become memories. A small town, beginning with big dreams. To understand Brad Arnold's impact, you have to go back to Escatawpa, Mississippi, long before fame ever entered the picture. In the mid-1990s, Brad was just a teenager with a love for music and a restless energy that didn't fit neatly into small-town life. Alongside his friends Matt Roberts and Todd Harrell, he helped form Three Doors Down, not with a master plan, but with belief. At first, Brad pulled double duty, singing while playing drums, driven more by passion than polish. There was no industry backing, no safety net, just endless practice and local shows. They played wherever they could, slowly building a following one listener at a time. Those early years weren't glamorous, but they were essential, forming the foundation of everything that would follow. The song, written before anyone was listening. One of the most remarkable parts of Brad Arnold's story is how early his gift revealed itself. At just 15 years old, sitting in a high school math class, he began writing a song that would eventually become Kryptonite. It wasn't written with fame in mind. It came from vulnerability, from the idea that even the strongest people have hidden weaknesses. When the song finally reached the world years later, it connected instantly. Kryptonite didn't just top charts, it became part of the cultural fabric of the early 2000s. It played at sporting events, on car radios, and in dorm rooms across the country. Yet, at its core, it remained what it always was, a teenage reflection on strength and fragility, delivered with sincerity rather than spectacle. When everything changed, overnight, in February 2000, Three Doors Down released their debut album, The Better Life, and nothing was ever the same again. What began as a regional success quickly turned into a national phenomenon. The album didn't creep up the charts, it exploded. Kryptonite led the charge, but it wasn't alone. Songs like Loser and Duck and Run proved the band had depth beyond a single hit. The album eventually sold millions of copies, placing a band from Mississippi firmly in the center of rock music's conversation. Suddenly, Brad Arnold was standing on stages he never imagined reaching, singing words he once scribbled in notebooks back to crowds of thousands. Despite the scale of success, his approach never changed. He still sang like the kid who wrote those songs for himself, music that grew with its audience. Three Doors Down didn't fade after their debut. Instead, they evolved alongside their listeners. In 2002, Away from the Sun revealed a more reflective side of the band, with songs that leaned into longing and emotional honesty. Here Without You became one of the defining ballads of the era, soundtracking long-distance relationships, military separations, and moments of loss. Brad's voice carried vulnerability without feeling fragile, strength without sounding forced. Over the years, the band released multiple albums and sold tens of millions of records worldwide. But numbers never told the full story. Their true impact lived in how deeply people connected to the music. Brad wasn't just writing songs. He was creating emotional spaces where listeners felt understood, sometimes for the first time, more than a frontman. Beyond the stage, Brad Arnold was known for qualities that never appeared on album covers. He was described by friends and family as kind, grounded, and deeply loyal. Fame never erased his humility or his connection to where he came from. He valued faith, family, and service, often using the band's platform to support military members and first responders. Three Doors Down performed for troops overseas and participated in countless benefit events, not for recognition, but because Brad believed music had a responsibility beyond entertainment. He understood that songs could bring comfort in places words alone could not. That belief guided how he lived, not just how he performed. To those who knew him personally, his greatest legacy wasn't his success, but the way he treated people when no one was watching, facing the hardest chapter with grace. In 2025, Brad shared with fans that he was facing a serious health challenge, a moment that reshaped how many viewed his strength. Rather than retreating into silence, he chose honesty, speaking openly while maintaining his privacy and dignity. He didn't ask for sympathy or attention. He stayed connected to the music community, expressing gratitude for the life he had lived rather than fear of what lay ahead. It was a powerful reminder that courage doesn't always look loud or dramatic. Sometimes it looks like calm acceptance and quiet resolve. Even as uncertainty surrounded him, Brad remained focused on what mattered most: his loved ones, his faith, and the bond he shared with fans who had walked alongside him for decades. A farewell without noise, only love. When Brad Arnold passed, it happened peacefully, surrounded by the people who mattered most to him. There was no spectacle, no public drama, only love and closeness. The band's announcement was met with an overwhelming response from fans and fellow musicians alike, all expressing gratitude rather than disbelief. Stories poured in about concerts attended, songs that helped people through dark moments, and memories forever tied to his voice. The family asked for privacy, a request that reflected Brad's lifelong desire to keep certain things sacred. In a world that often demands constant access, that quiet boundary felt fitting. His life had been shared generously through music, and his passing was allowed to remain personal, dignified, and deeply human. The legacy that will never fade. Brad Arnold may be gone, but his voice will never truly disappear. It lives on every time someone presses play on Kryptonite, Here Without You, or It's Not My Time. His songs continue to accompany people through moments, both ordinary and life-changing. He proved that you don't need to be larger than life to leave a lasting mark. You just need to be honest. Brad's journey reminds us that art created with sincerity outlives the artist, carrying pieces of them forward into the future. Today, the rock world mourns, but it also celebrates. A kid from Mississippi wrote songs that changed lives. A voice that once filled arenas now lives forever in memory. And that is a legacy no silence can erase.